Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Regular Beer Reviews, where regular doesn't refer to the beers reviewed, but to the reviewer, myself. I'm Jesse, and I'm about to review a beer that I've never had before. And honestly, oddly enough, I've never seen this beer before. This is Beck's Dark. Now, I've had Beck's several times. I've had their Sapphire quite a few times, but I didn't know they had a dark version. I've never seen it. We just redid our Choose Your Brews wall at work, and we started carrying the Beck's Dark on that wall. You can only get it in singles. You can't even get like a 6-pack of it. This is the first time I've ever seen it. When I saw it, I was a little excited to try it. I was like, wow, I didn't know Beck's had a dark beer. So anyway, this is gonna be the first time I've had it. Beck's Dark. This is from Brauerei Beck CO out of Bremen, Germany. St. Pauli Girl, which I did a few days ago, was the first time I'd ever had a St. Pauli Girl, other than their dark version. I'd had their dark version before, but I never had the regular version. But anyway, both companies are out of Bremen, Germany, or Bremen, Deutschland. This beer gets a 70 from Beer Advocate, which is just okay, and that's with 540 ratings. The Bros give it a 69, which is poor, and Rate Beer gives it a 17 overall with 11 for the style. And the style, by the way, it's a Munich Dunkel Lager. Here's the ABV is 4% and it has a year-round availability. Here's a quick description from Rate Beer. It says, Beck's Dark is a rich and smooth with a lingering, slightly sweet aftertaste. The deep ebony color is a result of specially roasting the barley malt. Unlike dark ales, Beck's Dark is a bottom-fermented lager, which creates a robust flavor and full body while retaining the refreshing properties of a lager beer. So, honestly, from those numbers, I don't have super high expectations, but I am a fan of dark lager. I'm not a big lager fan, but when I do have a lager, I prefer it to be a dark lager. I like Dunkels. I like Box and Doppelbox and My Box, and so I like the dark lagers as opposed to the much lighter ones. So drop the cap on the floor here. So I am I'm hopeful. I'm gonna try to be open-minded, and I'm hoping this beer is gonna be pretty good. So go ahead and get this poured. Nice color to it. A little bit left in there. I'll pour it in a second. Let's get an appearance on it. It is dark. It says ebony. I wouldn't call it ebony. It's like a light mahogany, dark amber. It's got a nice 3-finger light tan head. Little creepy, little creamy, but there's bigger bubbles, but it definitely has a creamy appearance on top. Kind of that pancake, when you're cooking a pancake and you see the bubbles forming on it, that's how it looks on top. Go ahead and get all this in the glass here. This is a nice looking beer, I'll be honest. It looks refreshing. Light to moderate carbonation. Doesn't look overcarbonated, but it is very dark. It looks like a pretty good lager. So let's go ahead and get a nose on this. Oh wow, that smells really macro. I'm getting kind of a skunkiness right up front. Which I've mentioned that I like skunkiness in like the lighter like Pilsners and American style adjunct lagers, and island style Caribbean lagers and Mexican beers and stuff. But that's because those are bland, boring beers, and the skunkiness gives them some character. I love dark lagers because they taste good. They have good flavor. They're robust. You have the darker malts. And the skunkiness is throwing me off a little on this darker beer because I'm picking up a little bit of roasty malt. Picking up like this like hint, like whiffs, like I don't even, what's the word, like wisps of coffee, the slightest little bit. Um, not really, not really picking up on any hop character, just the slightest little bits of dark malts, but nothing overpowering, and a little bit of a skunkiness, which again I love in the lighter beers, but in darker beers, darker beers are good, so they don't need that skunkiness. So that's a little off-putting to me in this beer. But hey, let's go on ahead and see how it tastes. Oh wow! I'll be honest. This beer tastes like Beck's with a hint of like a roasty kind of coffee, slight caramel malt that adds a little bit of bitterness to the back end. That's it. That's it. The mouthfeel is the same as Beck's, other than the dark color and that slight little bit of like a coffee kind of roasted malt. This is Beck's. It's grassy, it's grainy, it tastes cheap. The skunkiness is definitely there. It's sessionable, yes. At only, what is the ABV? 4.8% ABV. I could put these away all day. It's definitely drinkable, but drinkability and enjoyability are two different things, and this isn't that enjoyable of a beer. There's nothing really that it has to offer. This is not a great beer by any means. It's a shitty, cheap macro bock. It's a dunkel. So it's not a bock. It's like a dark pilsner. But it's a shitty version of one, because I've had ones that are certainly better than this. This isn't that good. Yeah, this beer is almost. It's so bland. It's almost offensive in flavor. I'll be honest. This is not a good beer. Again, I could drink a ton of these. It's sessionable. It's certainly drinkable. These things would flow. But there's nothing at all enjoyable about this. And again, the skunkiness, I don't want to be misleading, because I've said before how I do, in those light lagers that have nothing to offer, the skunkiness is okay. It adds a little something to it. It's not off-putting. But in a dark beer, I love dark beer. And dark beer that's supposed to have robust, roasty flavor, I don't want skunkiness there, and it's here in this beer. And other than that skunkiness and kind of a cheap, adjuncty, grassy graininess, and just a watery, just mouthfeel and overall, other than that, you have a little bit of like a slight coffee, just kind of a roasty malt, but overall this beer is bland and has nothing to offer. The lacing's not terrible though. The lacing's not terrible. That's about the best thing I can say for it. I'm gonna give this beer a 4 out of 10. This is not a good beer really at all. I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. This beer, to me, tastes just like Beck's, with the slightest bit of a dark malt at the backbone. A little bit of coffee, a little bit of roastiness, and that's it. That's all that's there. It's Beck's dark. It should say a little above dark and malt flavor below it, because that's the only extra thing you're getting with, the Beck's dark. A little dark malt flavor. That's it. This is not a good beer. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. If you see it, don't pick it up. It's not good. There's nothing good I could say about this beer. So anyway, thanks for watching, and keep watching again in the future for more reviews. Prost.